Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
My name's Keaton Smith, and this is Mike Hargis. And if you hear me accidentally call him Mark, it's because I learned his name incorrectly when we first met.
Amen.
And I've been calling him Mark ever since, and I just recently learned that after years of calling him Mark, his name is actually Mike. So this is Mike Hargis. Mike Hargis is a great friend of mine, and we are happy and thrilled to announce that we are opening, well, Mike is opening, I'm just helping, but Mike is opening a brick and mortar coin and collectible shop right here in London, Kentucky. And we are so excited about it. I have been interested in Newsmatics my entire life. My grandfather got me started in coin collecting when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old with some pennies, and so I definitely, because of that, have a real fascination with old pennies. And because of that, when I met this incredible man who has so much coin knowledge, I mean, he is like the bomb when it comes to coins. I've never met anybody like him. I mean, you just mentioned a coin and he knows about it. And if he doesn't know, don't give him just a minute because he'll find out. I mean, he is just... How long have you been doing antique coins now?
I've been doing Newsmatics. My dad's been a collector. My grandfather was a collector. And then I got serious in it about 3 years ago. And I think anything that I really jump into, I'm one of those that jumps really deep into it. So it went from just being an average collector that I wanted to actually be in the Newsmatics dealings. I wanted to be in and out of paper money and the coins and everything from silver to copper and so on and so forth. So I would say really, really aggressively the last 3 years is how long I've been aggressively trading and gotten to Newsmatics and doing on the dealer side of it.
Fantastic. Well, I've never gotten in on the dealer side of it. I'm still mostly just a collector. But I am so excited to have an actual coin shop in London, Kentucky. And Mike, when I say we, it's just because I'm helping, but I'm going to call
Great deal
you,
of help. Great deal
I'm
of
just going
help.
to call you my partner for now.
That sounds good to me, bro.
He's the coin guy, okay? I don't know anything about coins, but we have a shop that will be opening, hopefully, at brick and mortar September 1st. But London Coin and Collectables is open for business. And so we are already trading and Mike is already evaluating. And so here are some of the services that we're going to provide. Mike is going to provide buying gold, buying silver, buying old coins, but also selling those things. And what are some other services that you're going to provide?
Of course, now we're going to be following all forms of currency, anything that's in the numismatic field as far as trading, as far as buying and selling. And then also we're going to be offering appraisals. And we also do for coin, for you all that are out there that are really interested in getting some of your maybe personal collection or maybe family heirlooms or maybe just getting your collection ready to sell. We also offer a grading process that where you would come to us. We would help you to send your coins in and to get them graded. And we have different avenues to have that done. We have 3 different grading companies that we can use. So it's a lot of services. If you think Newsmatics, I want you to think about your coin books, your dollar bill covers, any type of coins or paper money, any collectible books. We want to be a full range provider of anything that's Newsmatics. So if you have something that you're not going to find around here, as far as I know, we're the only coin dealership that's actually in this area. And so you're not going to go in and find old books, new books, all the different rolls, all the different covers and all that stuff. So we provide that service full range. And even though the store may be not open until September 1st, we are actively working right now. So if you need anything, we're here to help already.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you that he has got a lot of great coin. So Mike here also has some future ideas because it's London Coin and Collectables. And as the store gets open, as the brick and mortar gets going, and we have the display cases, I believe Mike has shared with me, correct me if I'm wrong now, okay?
Go ahead, yeah.
That we're going to get into maybe some baseball cards or maybe even magic cards, maybe even some other collectibles out there. Never will we be as big into that, I don't think. as we will be into the coins. But you had shared with me that other collectibles would definitely be on the table.
Oh yeah, we want people when they come to the store that, of course, the first and foremost will be the Newsmatics side of it, but we also want to be a basis for what is not around here at all, and that is for you all that are out there that have interest in hobbies and collectibles that span from everything from tokens to stamps. We want to be available if maybe you have them to sell, maybe it's something that you're looking for. We want to be able to provide that type of service on the collectible range, and we're not going to limit ourselves. If it's collectibles, I want y'all to think about London Coin and Collectibles. If it's something that's of value to you, it's of value to us, and that's really where our focus is going to be, mainly on Newsmatics, but the secondary will be a plethora of things that I know that people are into to collecting. So, especially old, I like everything old. So. That's where we really want to be a benefit to anybody in this entire area if it's something that they have as a hobby or a passion about.
That's right. And sometimes people have things in their closet that they're just curious about. It's like, I wonder if this is worth anything. And you bring it on down, and Mike can take a look at it.
And everything's, when we give the appraisals, it is not an appraisal whether or not we're going to buy it. It's an appraisal of the actual value of it. And then, we're very honest. Any company has to make money, but we want to make sure that you're getting the fairest value, that if you are not happy with, there's no pressure on whether or not you sell or whether or not we sell to you. We want you to be able to enjoy it when you come in here and know that you're getting the full value either way of the side of it, whether you're buying or whether you're selling. We want you to walk away with the feeling that you got the best purchase for what your collection desires are.
Fantastic. Excited for the future. Excited for London, Kentucky. Excited for the product that you and the service that you are going to be offering our community. It's a great hobby. And if you don't know anything about Newsmatics, it is just a fascinating world. Now, I'm biased because I find it very fascinating, but
Right.
The history, I love how, like these coins right here, when you pick one of those coins up, you're holding real history in your hand. And that's amazing to sit and think about where that coin's been, what it has seen, what it has purchased, what it meant to somebody in the past, and it's still being carried on. It still has value. It's not valueless. Even if you was to sell it for face value, it has value. But then when you add all of that history and all of the other intricacies that go into Newsmatics, it's just fascinating. And truthfully, I don't know. I just don't think you could know it all.
It's impossible.
Just
it's the world's history. Yeah, it's no man's gonna know every area. Yeah.
Just collecting wheat pennies, the amount of stuff there is to know about collecting wheat pennies, from double dies to mint errors to varieties to the grades and the classes, and whether it's been cleaned or faked or not faked. There's just so much to know about it. And I'm going to showcase some of Mike's wonderful knowledge this evening because he's brought 5 coins for us to take a look at. So tell us what you got. Tell us about the history of these coins and kind of show them off a little bit, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think that's the one thing that if I was going to say is my passion in Newsmatics is I love historical, of the world really, but I love America's history. I love the historical aspect that the coins bring. This is the founding of our country. This is what got our country started. So what I have with me today is what we call the busted half dollar. This right here is one of the designs of the busted half dollar. And the reason I wanted to start with this one, we were actually talking about, and I want to give you some vernacular that you guys are going to hear a lot of, but I remember when a lot of guys would ask me, they would kind of listen to what I would say, and then they would later come on and say, what in the world was you meaning when you were saying that? So you're going to hear stuff like obverse. And when we say obverse, we're actually talking about the front of the coin. When we say reverse, of course, we're talking about the back of the coin. And when we say mint marks, that will be different types of mints that have put out coins. and they'll have signatures that will be in letter form. You'll have S for San Francisco, D for Denver. Some have P, some doesn't, but Pennsylvania, and we'll go to New Orleans and Card City. And we'll get, and more than we do this, they'll learn more about all that. But today, the reason I'm so excited about this one is because of the American history that's behind the busted half dollar. So the busted half dollar is the first half dollar that we have ever produced as a country. Now you have to understand that whenever these coins, like for instance, the oldest one I have here is from 1829, but these coins have been around right now since 1794. 1794. So you got to remember, our country was only founded in 1776. And one of the things a lot of people don't know about our currency and why this is so significant is we had a hard time with mints.
We had a tough time.
A brand new country doesn't have the experience of other nations that's been around for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. And so whenever this one here, a man by the name of Mr. Scott was an engraver, and the April the 1st in 1792, these were actually, they were signed off. That was whenever America had put forth that it was going to create this currency. And then this currency actually did not come out until 1794. So it took 2 years just to produce the first half dollar, busted half. And the reason they're called busted is because anytime you look at a model of anything from just below what we would call the breast line, about mid-belly up, that's what's called a bust. And so that was the signature that was put onto this. Mr. Scott, as he engraved it. You'll hear people like Gorbic and some others that had a great role in these. But these coins stayed in such great condition when a lot of coins that are not minted well, or they're not pressed well, or they're not struck well, they don't last very long. But some of these...
what is the alloy on these?
Okay, so this is going to throw you off just a little bit. So we always go in and say these are 90% silver. And actually that's not quite right. These are actually 0.8924% silver until 1836, when the law was put in to change the fineness to a pure 0.9000. So if you're going to be technical, this is 89% silver. And then, of course, the rest is an 11% copper base that they used. And the reason that they started out with that is because they wanted that more of the copper in it for the better strike, so that it would last, because they were just going through so many different types of coins that they had that fineness. And then when the law came out in 1836, they would go to a pure 90%. It was so that we would be in more line with the world's currency that we were trading with. So these are silver. They do have a silver value to them, but now the Newsmatic value is a lot more than what the silver value would be. I would say these would melt for somewhere between, right now at the current silver price, around $9 would be the melt value of them. But like the 1829 cap in a fine conditions, around $110 for the coin.
Awesome. There was a lot of early, I forget the man's name, but he was commissioned to experiment with a lot of alloys and different things. Mm-hmm. And the combination of the copper and the silver just has an awesome durability. There are some other ones that are great as well, but if you compare some of the durability of, let's say, the 1943 steel pennies compared to these, I mean, it's hard to find a clad, which means just a circulated steel penny, mm-hmm. in really great shape. They've tarnished, they've rusted, they've gotten beat up. And then here in our modern age, where so many of our pennies are now made out of zinc,
right,
they just don't hold up like these kinds of coins do. So it's a very special, awesome historical value that not only did these men come up with this alloy, but it has endured all of these centuries of use and trade.
Of pockets at these.
A lot of pockets, yeah.
And you take just what you were saying as far as all the different tests of metal. When we look at it from a Newsmatic standpoint, then you look from a historical standpoint, Benjamin Franklin traveled overseas at a time when it was very dangerous to even cross the seas. But it was months long worth of journeys. And when he would go over there, it was to get with the French and to get with other people to find out what they were doing for their money. That's why you see some kind of the twists on there with the stars and the bust models of what look like older European coins, because that was kind of what Benjamin Franklin seen when he was over there, and that's why a lot of them over there commission medals that people don't know that are just as old as these coins are here that are still circulated over there.
How interesting. Is there something different between the 1829 and the 1836 busted half dollar?
No, now in these particular group that we have, these are all what they call the capped, I'm sorry. So you do have different varieties. You have what was the flowing hair variety, and then you had some different looks that were in between, or I'm sorry, that would come afterwards. But this variety here, it has the same eagle, what we call I'm wanting to say the proper name is Herdic eagle, but they had one, and I'm going to try to think of the name of it. I've got it written down. It's a small eagle, and what we call the starving turkey.
Yes.
So the starving turkey was an earlier eagle, but now this particular age group, it breaks down. The flowing hair was 1794 to 1795. The drape bust, which is the 1796 to 1807. And then you have what was the in between. So 1808 to 1837 is what we're staring at here, was with this one. And then it changes the the reverse went from just, if you see on here on the back, it says 50C. In 1836, it actually says 50 CENTS, 50 cents. And then in 1838, it actually changed to what we really saw as a modernization of the half dollar, which is the half, HALF, with the DOL period, which of course abbreviation for dollars. So the particular group that we have, they all fall in the same category. But now there is several different on the bust that did change. It'd be altogether about 4 different varieties. This is the most common. The most least common would be the 1836 to 1837 of the busted halves.
There you go. And you want to talk about the quality of these?
Yeah.
The gradings of them?
So these right here, you've got some different ones. We've got what we would call from fine to extra fine. And now when you look at them, you say, now, I don't know if I would call that a fine grade on a coin, but you have to remember that this coin is almost 200 years old. We can still see on the 1833 capped here, we can still see Liberty very plainly on her head. We can see her hair flow. We can see the definition of her ear, her nose, and her mouth. And this may now, whenever I do grading on my coins, I'm kind of hard on my grading sometimes, but I would rather make sure that I'm giving a true grade on this. And so I would call this extra fine. With the back here on the reverse, you can still see the shield very clearly, the eagle. This is just a good looking coin that over 200-year period, almost we're 11 years away from being 200 years, has stood the test of time, and it still has a great quality to it. And then we have one here that I think this is the 1832, and it just goes a little bit. This would still fall in the same category, maybe not as high as extra fine, because you still have some wear that's going on the reverse on the top there when it says United States. So this still, I mean, but as far as the quality of these coins, it's unbelievable how well they made them, that they were able to have such good detail after such a long time. And as Keaton had pointed out, whenever you look at pennies that have been made in the 80s, the wear and tear in the late 80s, early 90s, the zinc is already starting to deteriorate, break down. You can't see details in the face and stuff. This one here would be what I would call a good. Now it's 1830. Now this one here is one of those where I'm going to have to do some more studying on, because this actually looks like what we call the large letters, which is a rarer coin. So even in this condition, the price would be very, very low on this because of the rarity of the coin itself. But you can still see the Liberty. So most would probably give this a VG, especially with the reverse. Even though it was a little faded, you can still clearly see all the shield and the outline. So what you have on a grading scale is we have what's called good, but what we call a G4, that you can actually get all the way up to an MS70. Now, an MS70 in a coin of this age would be, hen's teeth. It would be, you're never going to probably find that. But when you
have
get
to
them,
be in a treasure chest,
it have
attics
to
or
be
whatever.
airlocked
Yeah.
in a very secure place for a long time. But in these coins here, if you get into the MS range, I would say off the top of my head, with any one of these five, if you was to get in what we call the mint states where you have very clear lines, there's very little wear and tear, and those are going to be hard to even find in those. You're looking into 2, 3, 4,000 range, and then depending on where you find yourself in the mint state, the sky's the limit. And you're watching this video and you may look up and say, hey, those coins look like what my papaw left me, and you might go in there and find something pretty close to this rate or higher, and it gives you an idea that this coin, it says 50 cents on it, but even though it says 50 cents on it, you have at the minimum $100 coin in your hand.
Amazing. Awesome. It's wonderful. Well, Brother Mike, thank you for sharing. We plan on releasing a video at least once a week. And as we get going, I hope that we can do videos on coins 3 or 4 times a week to allow you to experience and to grow with us and to see what Brother Mike has available. And I really thank you for watching our very first episode. So if you'd like to get a hold of Mike and talk about your coins, you need to call his cell phone. What's your number?
It's 606-401-7025. It's 606-401-7025.
And that will be in the description below. It's also in our information part. And you can also email him at Londoncoinguy@gmail.com if you want to email him, okay? But I thank you very much, Mike. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you for doing this. This is fun.
I stand in wonder of your great awe.
Well, I don't know about that, but I love this field, and I think that if you've never gotten into numismatics, not just the historical part of it that's very exciting, but just it's kind of like a treasure hunt. You get to get out and you get to find things, and when we make more videos, I'll tell you about some of the amazing things that we have and that we have found, and in my collection, I think the funnest part for me is seeing what comes in new and getting the trade with what I have, and I think that it is going to be very exciting for everybody in this area to have a store they can come in and actually get to feel the coin, look at the coin, and hold a piece of history every time they come in to visit with us.
Fantastic. That's awesome. I'm so excited.
All right.
I am so excited. Thank you, Brother Mike.
Thanks, sir.
All right, until next time.
Well, I'll be ready whenever you are.
God bless.
God bless.
Bye-bye.